Once upon a time, this genre was a joke. Too fast, too loud, too cringe. Hard house was the sound of glow sticks, donk bass, and unapologetically trashy energy. For a while, it ruled the UK underground. Then it vanished. But now, somehow, it came back. And it's absolutely everywhere. Hard house was born in late 90s Britain. 140 BPM, simple drums, big bass lines. It was the ultimate working class party music for that generation.
Such a good beat, it's brilliant. The people are nice, fast off, and it's really good atmosphere. It's friendly and everyone's like unity.
It's like all over the world you've got a certain kind of people, have the same way of partying and like the same things as you do.
Clubs like Wigan Pier and Doncaster Warehouse were packed every weekend. DJs like Lisa Luscious, Fergie, and the Tiny Boys were local legends. It wasn't about being cool, it was about dancing until your legs gave out.
This is Fatboy Slim for the BBC. You're at the Big Beat Boutique. I'm one of the resident DJs, and apparently we are the underground club of the year.
The music didn't care if it sounded cheesy, it wanted to sound cheesy. That was the charm.
All it is about enjoying yourself and playing records to people and making them dance.
Man, you don't get anything like this at home. People and the music just pumps over here.
Really superb.
Yeah.
It's a blast!
But as the 2000s ended, the rave world changed.
Tech house became more popular. The increased attention exposed a small, close-knit community to a scrutiny that became unsustainable, revealing the shortcomings of a scene that emphasized purism over innovation.
All of a sudden, minimal techno started taking over Europe. Later on in the 2000s, dubstep exploded. House got sleeker, cooler, and suddenly hard house sounded kind of just dumb.
The name dubstep was first coined to apply to bass-driven electronic music in 2002 in a town called Croydon in South London. There were two major influences on the early origins of dubstep. Big Apple Records is no longer around, but some of the first dubstep tracks were made here in this shop by the likes of Scream, Benga and Hatcher. Forward, based in Shoreditch, London, was the first place that put on dubstep nights. It was this club night that was the first real platform for new dubstep talent and the development of the dubstep sound. In 2012, the genre has kicked on from its last year's success and become even bigger, more diverse and even more popular.
It got pushed out of the main rooms, ignored by tastemakers, and rebranded as something only unserious DJs played.
Once producers began to shape the sound of tech house instead of DJs, it grew easier to pin down and easier to copy. It became ripe for exploitation.
Unfortunately, those American labels that jumped on the bandwagon in the early 90s, once they started selling tracks, they just were throwing everything out there, and it just got so swamped with these kind of tribal sounding tracks.
For over a decade, it was really more like a musical punchline, a meme of a genre, a memory your older cousin cringed about, until TikTok changed everything.
TikTok is the most downloaded app of 2020. Since its global release less than 2 years ago, TikTok and its Chinese counterpart, Douyin, have amassed 800 million monthly active users, more than Reddit, Snapchat, or Twitter.
In 2023, a new generation of internet kids found hard house, and they loved it for all the reasons others hated it. It was fast, it was chaotic, it was ridiculous, perfect. Donk remixes, sped up pop edits, bootlegs of Euro trance vocals at 160 BPM. Suddenly, your average Gen Z scroll was packed with music that sounded like a Clubland CD on acid. They didn't care that it was lowbrow, they made it a lifestyle. And hard house, once a joke, became the joke that went viral.
Doesn't it feel like a huge percentage of what we see on the internet now is ironic, and that the way that we're engaging with it is ironic too? Like Playboi Carti's album I Am Music finally came out after like a 5-year wait, and the most listened to song on it is the song that everyone is making fun of for sounding like a 2012 Minecraft YouTube intro.
While TikTok pushed the memes, actual producers saw the moment. They took the bounce and made it bounce again. Artists like Sam Alford, DJ G2G, Tan, and Rima, and even Kedema gave the sound new life. They made some techno, trance, garage, and even going out of that sort of lo-fi house revival of the past few years, they sort of sped things up and built that sound into what hard house became now. They kept the BPM high, but made the groove smoother, deeper, and just a little bit smarter. It wasn't a copy of 2002, but it was a complete reboot. Hard House 2.0 didn't care about credibility. It cared about energy. At first, people played it as a joke, that one chaotic track at the end of a set, a guilty pleasure at the afters. But then, something shifted. Crowds responded, the energy in the room changed, and suddenly DJs weren't playing it ironically anymore, they were playing it because it worked. And fans started asking for even more. Of course, not everyone was thrilled. Techno purists called it lazy, house heads called it clown music, forums lit up with debates over whether this was the end of real dance music. But the thing is, hard house was never trying to be real. It was just trying to be fun. And that's why it worked. Nowadays, the sound's evolving even faster than we can talk. People are calling it hyper-techno, hard groove, rave revival. Genres are blurring, tempo walls are collapsing, and what matters most is how it feels rather than being able to define it into words. And this music feels good. Whether it's in a 300 cap club or a festival main stage, the bounce is back, and it's connecting with people who never even knew it existed.
I think in the future, this kind of techno is gonna stay because people like it. A lot of producers and DJs like to play it, but more genre of techno will come out for me. And art techno will be more with more genre of music for me. Not only art techno. Art techno can be like more a little bit art style, a little bit hardcore, maybe more basic techno, groovy techno. For me, it's a mix of everything.
Hard house was a genre the time forgot, the joke everyone stopped telling, but somehow it made the ultimate comeback. Not because of hype, not because of critics, but because people remembered how to have fun again. This dead genre, it just took over the rave again.